And Molly's like, okay? What do you mean? What do you mean, bruv? Welcome to Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, the first and the only place for movie reviews live at the cinema. I am your boy Miles and we are here for yet another Insecure recap, Season 4, Episode 9, the penultimate episode of this season anyway. Before we get started, I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, I hope you're healthy, both physically and mentally. All Black Lives related matter is down in the description below, and also please like, share and subscribe for all our latest content. But this episode opens with Lawrence and Issa in their apartment, and it's a montage of them doing different activities, having sex, eating pizza, having sex, doing work on a laptop, having sex, watching a movie, having sex, plus a little bit of having sex sprinkled on top. But I was like, I get the point. You guys had a lot of sex. Like, you guys are inconsiderate, the Insecure writers. You have to be wary of the people like me who, because of quarantine, haven't been able to get none. So allow throwing it in my face. I swear, in that scene, my face was like this. I just had enough of it. But it was a good scene though. It showed, you know, all the good things about their relationship. Speaking of which, they had a conversation about what's happening between them. Issa tells Lawrence about Nathan, that she's going over to his house. It's completely platonic, that she wanted to make him aware just in case, even though she does not know what this is. And that leads to the question, what is this that's happening between them? But for the most part, it seems like they're just living in the moment, having fun, two consenting adults. They haven't put a label on anything, and I think that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine if life could only be so simple all the time. But as I said, this is perfectly fine once it's not infringing on either of their happiness, and once that's fine, all guns blazing, green light. But Issa also asks about Condola, and Lawrence says to her, you know, he had a conversation with her and it's over now. I know people were getting excited in the previous week saying, oh, Condola is pregnant. Oh, Condola is pregnant. But that was a complete Dalcine yoga flame reach. But their situation, even though both of them are happy, it is still up in the air because Lawrence hasn't decided what he really wants to do in terms of he wants to move away to San Francisco for a new job, if he does get it. So there's still that to decide, and what is best for the two of them in terms of like a relationship. Then we're gonna go to a scene where Molly and Dr. Rhonda, her therapist, are in their session. Before I get into that though, I will say throughout this episode, and this season in general, but especially throughout this episode, Molly was serving looks, serving fashion. That outfit she was wearing in the therapist session, fire. That turquoise number as well, fire. And I will also say her wigs have been, you know, I don't know, as a man, I don't know if it's really my place to critique wigs and things of that nature, but her wigs have been looking better as of late. Before, it used to just look like something just sat on her head, and I'll be like, I can see the gap. Do you know I can see the gap between your scalp and the wig? But anyway, my point being, her wigs look better and I appreciate that. But in this therapist session, Molly is telling Dr. Rhonda, telling her all her problems. That's the reason why she called her from Cancun or Mexico, wherever they were. And Dr. Rhonda asks her, is there anything that you could have done differently? Because all I'm hearing is she done this, he done that. And specifically with the Issa situation, Molly is still choosing to die on that hill. No, she was wrong, she should have apologized, rare. But Dr. Rhonda asks two very poignant questions. Dr. Rhonda asks Molly, do you want to be right or do you want to have a relationship? And that kind of knocked the nail on the head, and even Molly acknowledges that, because Molly is too caught up in being right at the detriment of the various relationships that she's in or she's had. And Dr. Rhonda follows that up with, are you willing to do the work to repair these relationships? But you don't see her answer. And because Issa's dealing with this whole Lawrence and Nathan situation, she's doesn't really know how to navigate it. So she's trying to call someone for advice. At first she calls Kelly, goes to voicemail. She calls her brother Amal. He was no use at all. And then it goes into a dream sequence where she calls Molly. And from this you can tell that Issa still has PTSD from all the things that Molly has said about her. Oh, typical Issa, talking about yourself, da da da. But that was a dream sequence. Eventually she does call Molly in real life. It goes to voicemail, but she leaves a voicemail saying that they should meet up. Fast forward, they do meet up in a diner, and when Molly does arrive, it is super awkward, at least at first. super one-sided. Issa's trying to make all the effort. The questions that she's asking, Molly's just giving super short answers. Molly's not asking Issa any questions. After some mimosas though, some light-skinned mimosas, that's the first time I've ever heard that phrase, but some light-skinned mimosas, they kind of open up. It's flowing a little bit more, but at the same time it's still on the surface. They haven't really delved into why their relationship deteriorated. And it was a very good contrast, I thought, between how Lawrence and Issa dealt with the issues of their relationship and were able to repair them, compared to how Molly and Issa are going through trying to mend it. But at the same time, Lawrence and Issa were both separate entities, but both of them wanted the same thing, trying to work this out, trying to put things out in the open, be honest. But in the Molly and Issa situation, one party is willing to do that. But unless the other is, then that's the detriment of that situation, the detriment of trying to repair that. Molly did come through with another Flames outfit, again, double blue with the knee-high boots, that's another Flame outfit. But as I said, it was a very on-the-surface conversation. So Molly ends up going back home. Andrew, he asks Molly, so how did it go? And Molly basically says the same thing. She said it went okay and it was very superficial. And Molly's saying, yeah, she didn't even talk about what happened at the block party. And Andrew asked her, well, did you bring it up? And she was like, no, me just showing up is enough. And Molly is so selfish. She is so selfish. And Andrew says to her, you know, you could have at least meet her halfway. Again, it goes back to what Dr. Rhonda said. Are you willing to put in the work? And I must say, Andrew, bro, I've said this in previous recaps. She don't deserve you, bro. And if I was Andrew's friend when Molly's out of the room, I would have come to him and said, listen, bro, come. You need to get out. You need to get out as soon as possible. I will distract Molly. Pack a bag, just pack your essential, and we can get out of here. Because it also seems that Andrew is not only her boyfriend, but he's like her therapist and her babysitter as well. Yeah, it's just a very weird dynamic that he doesn't have to put himself through that. He's doing it because he likes her, but I suspect that he's gonna get tired of that very soon. But remember in the movie Get Out, when someone takes a picture by accident and it wakes the guy up and he's like, get out! That's what someone needs to do. Someone needs to give Andrew a warning, because I see he's being held hostage, fam. Andrew, if you're watching this, bro, blink twice if you need to be saved. Yeah, blink twice. So Issa goes to see Nathan. As I said at the beginning, he asked her for help to help him unpack because he's got a new apartment. One thing I'll say about Nathan, he might be the most laid back person on earth. When Issa came and she pressed the button and said, yeah, I'm here, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna buzz you up then. Bro, why are you talking so slow? It was getting me vexed. This next scene is excruciating to watch, because Issa is doing everything in her power she's trying to avoid telling Nathan what's happening. So even when he's trying to come in for a hug, she's ducking and diving. When they're unpacking the same box, she's moving to the other side of the room. But eventually you can see Nathan, he's making his way. You can see he's trying to make his move. You can see he holds Issa dear to his heart. But Issa can kind of read the room. She can read the situation. She can read what's happening. And she says to him, listen, I feel kind of weird saying this, but I've started seeing my ex again. And when she says this, you could see in his face, you could see the exact moment that his heart broke. It reminded me of that Simpsons episode when Lisa gets a card from Ralph Wiggum and the card says, will you choose me? Do you remember that? And Bart was rewinding that same moment to find that exact moment when his heart died. I'm gonna put that clip in.
I don't like you. I never liked you. And the only reason I gave you that stupid Valentine is because nobody else would.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
But Nathan, he tried to play it off as best as he could, but he was throwing shade at the same time. He was like, oh, okay, who's that? The one that you cheated on? Oh, him? Well, I hope he's not as sometimey as he used to be. And you're thinking, oh shit. And to me, I was thinking, Nathan, just chill, fam. I know you're hurt, but just chill, because at the same time, if you want to say who's sometimey, you also disappeared for months. One thing I will say on that note is that he did try, when he came back, he did try to come to Issa to apologize, but Molly, that bitch, she sent him away. But yeah, I was thinking, bro, just slow your roll, just a tad, just pump the brakes a little bit. And Issa herself says, wait, well, bro, you disappeared yourself. And this is when we finally find out the reason. Finally, after waiting for so long, the reason why Nathan disappeared like he did. So he confesses to her that he finds out that he is bipolar, that he needed time to himself to process the information, to find out what's what, and how to deal with it, how to move forward. And Issa apologizes to him. I didn't think she necessarily needed to apologize because he didn't share that information with her. So all she had to go on is what he told her. But nonetheless, you can see in Issa's mind, this revelation has definitely changed her perspective on what she thinks moving forward. So going into the last episode, it's definitely going to be a case of, okay, I get along with Lawrence, but the reason why I disregarded Nathan is because he disappeared. But the reason why he disappeared is because of this mental issues he was going through. So I forgive him. So she might be open to giving Nathan another chance, maybe. Who do you think is better for Issa, Lawrence or Nathan? You let me know. But despite this, they're still able to have a conversation and they're still able to carry on unpacking the boxes. But there's some boxes left at Andrew's house, so Issa and Nathan have to go across there. But before they arrive, Andrew and Molly are having a conversation because Molly has been avoiding, ever since what happened in Mexico, she's been avoiding having to see Victor's brother again. And while that's understandable, Andrew's trying to figure out, oh, is this gonna last forever? I can't keep on making excuses for you. But you can see Molly, which is a consistent theme throughout this episode, that she has a problem for whatever reason of trying. She thinks just her mere presence is her trying, but she makes no effort herself to try and repair whatever damage has been done, regardless of whose fault it was. And especially for someone who's gonna be in your life long term, Andrew, if you have hopes for him to be your boyfriend or husband or whatever, you're gonna have to deal with his brother. So what is the plan? But their argument is cut short because Issa and Nathan arrive, and because Andrew is pro Issa or pro their friendship, he's trying to gently push in Molly to be more receptive, to try and meet her halfway or even 60-40. So he encourages Issa and Nathan to stay for dinner, which they do, and it turns into a fun evening. They have dinner, they're playing drinking games, they're playing cards and whatnot, and it seems like everyone is having a good time. Issa suggests that they play one drinking game that she knows, and Molly's like, but Andrew kind of looks at her. You know, like how your mom looks at you when she's trying to give you a signal but not trying to make it obvious. He's, without saying anything, he's kind of encouraging, as I said, Molly to make more effort. So Molly reads that and she said, no, okay, let's do it. So they end up playing the game and everything is going well. But Molly makes a fatal mistake. Andrew goes to the kitchen to get a new bottle because the drink is finished. And when Andrew's in the kitchen, Molly texts him, you see, like I'm trying with her, but she accidentally sends it to the wrong person, to Issa of all people, and Issa sees it, and again you can see in her heart how much it hurt her.
And now,
if you remember earlier in the episode when they're respectively retelling their meeting, Issa's on the phone to Lawrence and saying, you know, it was really good, you know, I just missed her so much. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone else but her. You know, I thought it went really well. But then Molly on the other hand is thinking like, yeah, Issa this, Issa that. It was so superficial, like You can clearly see the difference. So Molly needs a whole heap more of therapy. But that being said, back to now. So Issa, she gets her things, she's out the door. Nathan and Andrew are none the wiser, don't know what the hell is going on. Issa's trying to call an Uber. Molly's following behind her, and this is where they have their big moment. Issa's saying, I didn't know you had to try so hard or for you to get along with me, and Molly's saying, yeah, this is how I really feel. And Molly, she keeps on moving the goalposts as well, because Molly said to her, oh, even when we met up for brunch, we didn't even talk about the block party. And Issa said, well, let's talk about that now. And then Molly will turn around and say, but it's not even about the block party, there's so much else. And Issa's saying, yeah, well, let's talk about that too. And Molly's just not having it. As Issa said, it seems like Molly just enjoys being miserable. But Molly says to her, you know what? The direction that you're going on in your life and the direction that I'm going on in my life, it just doesn't seem to match. So maybe we're just going in different directions. We're just not compatible right now. And Issa is heartbroken. You can see it. Brilliant acting by Issa. Issa's just lost for words. She can just about muster an okay. And Molly's like, okay? What do you mean? What do you mean, bruv? What do you mean? And Molly is just, she wants Issa to beg for their relationship. It's like, what do you mean? You just told her you're going in different directions, so you don't want to be a part of that relationship. So it seems like you want Issa to fight and beg and do all the emotional hard work, and you're not even prepared to try yourself. Molly, at this point, they have grown in different directions. So it is in Issa's best interest for herself not to be friends with this person, because everything is a guilt trip, no efforts to try and repair the situation, not taking any blame herself, and so much more. I would love to see how this will affect, because you know Andrew, as I said, is pro their relationship. When she relays this situation to Andrew, I can see that causing friction in their relationship too. So it'll be interesting going into the last episode to see the fallout. I'm hoping the last episode is longer than half an hour. Will it be? I have no idea. But one fun fact is this episode was directed by Kerry Washington. I love that Insecure are giving people a chance to flex their creative juices, because you know we are multi-talented people. We're not just actors. You can be directors, you can be producers, script writers, give people chances to write certain episodes. But my god, I wanted to fling something at the TV when Molly was talking, because she's just she's unbearable, bro. She is unbearable. That okay that she did, it baffled me. I've seen people do things like that before, where they give like a definitive statement. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And the other person might say okay, and they're angry with the response. If that's not what you want to say how you feel. Don't emotionally blackmail people. Don't give them the bait, and when they take the bait, you're upset about it. Molly's an idiot. She's a snake, man. A snake with a wig on it. But that has been my Insecure recap. Join me again next week for the finale of season 4 with everything on the line. But until the next video, I have been your boy Miles. We have been the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N. Love as always. See you soon.